Okay, so I've got this project that is based on a massing model that I've done in Revit, and I've already linked this through to 3D Studio Max. So I might actually open that up while I'm at it, the linked Max file, and there it is. Now I've lost some of the textures. I'll grab those later. That's fine. Right, so you can see they're the same file linked into Max. And you can see fairly clearly here in the 3D Studio Max file that the columns need to be adjusted. So, going back to Revit, you can see it also there. Now, I don't want to just move the columns because the entry there, in my perspective view, relies on that the current position for those columns. So I don't want to move that. I don't want to move them. If anything, I would want to move that curtain wall out. I definitely don't want to move the columns though. So instead of doing that, I'm going to go back and edit the mass that this was all based on. So under Massing in Site, if I go to Show Mass, then I can see the massing element, and I'm just going to use Tab to cycle through and see if I can get it now. It can be a bit tricky sometimes, so I'm just going to orbit a bit and see. There we are. So you can see in the bottom left-hand corner that it says Mass Building 2, and that is the mass element that everything here is based on. So I've selected it, and now I can click Edit in Place to go and fix that. So all I'm going to do is bring the edge here out. In fact, I'll just bring the whole face out. So you can see there that gizmo, which you'll become really used to as you use 3D Studio Max, this XYZ gizmo. At the moment it's only got one arrow that isn't orange. So the orange ones we know aren't perpendicular or parallel with the ground. They're actually based on the face. I don't want that, so I'm going to use the spacebar toggle, which turns them all into different colours, red, green and blue, which we know means X, Y and Z. So if I click on the green arrow there, I'm dragging only in the direction of the the Y-axis, and so I know I'm going to be moving parallel to the ground. So it's going to bring that out a bit. Let's just make sure I've come out enough for those columns, maybe not quite enough, so I'll bring it out a bit further. So that looks fine. Okay, so I'm going to finish the mass now, and then using I can actually hide the mass. I don't need to see it anymore, so I'm going to select Show Mass, or just click on that Show Mass button, and that turns it off. And then I can simply go through and select all of the things that I've made that were based on the massing. So I've got the curtain wall there. I'm going to click Update to Face, and it's going to change to reflect the change I made to the massing. It might tell me that it can't create certain things. That's okay. I'll just click Delete Elements. And well, you can see the mass has come out to the right point, but now I've lost this void. So I've actually got to go back just one step and show mass again. And you can see there the hole, I didn't notice, isn't quite big enough. So the recess there that I made with the void, I've got to also bring it out. So I'm going to use Also, I'm just going to select that massing element again, edit in place, and then this time I'm going to use tab until it tells me in the bottom left hand corner I've got the void element, and this time I'm also going to use X-ray mode to make it easier to highlight the face that I want to move there. And this is again something you'll become more and more used to with 3D Studio Max. So let's just see if I can move the mouse onto different faces. It can be a bit tricky once you've got a few elements there. That's got it. Okay, so now again I've got the XYZ gizmo, so I can just drag that face out. And I'll make it really big this time in case I need to make more changes. The void will be big enough. So that's better. Finish mass. And again I'll select that same curtain wall. This time again I'll click update to face. And again it'll tell me it's got to delete some of the mullions. That's good, that's what I want. So it's cut out those parts that were going over the void. And then I can just select all the other curtain systems. Now I'm just going to use a shortcut here. I'm going to right click and go select all instances in entire project. And they haven't all changed. Okay, so I'll just go back and click on one. Update to face again. And so that's all the curtain systems updated. Now I've just got to get the regular walls. So down here we've got this wall, and this time again I should be able to, I was going to say select all instances, but in fact I don't need to because this one at the back probably hasn't changed. So I'm just going to click again, update to face. That's fine. Now sometimes you will get errors. See how I got an error there? So I've got to delete that face and just make it again. That's really easy. So just making a new wall from the massing and site tab, and this one here was a, so just check that wall type there, 200mm wall. So I'll use the same wall type there. And so, forgot the justification, so it should be finished face interior because that's what I used for the other one. So there we are. Okay, so we've got that wall back, and then the roof, same thing, update to face. Now, there's a bit of an issue with the roof heights. You'll sometimes find you've got to keep adding in the roof thickness as you update it. I'll go through the reasons for that later on, but for now I'm just going to quickly change that level offset by adding 400 to it. So it's brought it up again. And then the floors should be able to select just by right clicking and select all instances in entire project. Again, it's selected floors that haven't been changed. So I'm going to use Shift and just make a crossing window over the whole back section there. And this, and this one as well needs to be deselected. There we are. So now I've only got floors that have been changed, and I've got this update to face tool available again. And it's telling me they can't be required, so that's fine. I'll just delete elements. And these two floors have been updated. The one on the bottom needs to be remade. So that does happen from time to time. So it's got to have the mass turned on so that I can select it. And then using mass floors, I can make a new floor plate for the ground floor. And now using the floor tool in model by face, okay, so the massing has to come down a little bit, I think. So instead what I'll do is bring the level up. So it's good to see all these, there are lots of fiddly little things you've got to do sometimes to get your massing to work. So let's just check the okay, so I'm just making sure I've only got the mass selected. And I'm just going to quickly isolate those things. And so the massing, I don't want to come up with my level now. So I brought the level up 50 mil. I'm just going to bring this massing back down 50 mil. There we are. Just to make sure my floor plate is going to work with it. Alright, so I'll just try the floor plate again. So should be able to select the mass again here, just using filter. Mass floors, ground floor only. Hopefully that'll work better this time. And back to creating a floor. There we are. So now I can click that floor plate that was giving me a problem. So sometimes you just need to check that they're intersecting. There we go. That's fine if it gives you an error like that. So now I should be able to hide the mass again, and the only thing that needs to be updated is this floor, edit boundary, and in plan, I'll just go to the level 1 plan and bring that down by eye. I won't worry about measuring that too accurately right now. There we go. It's a little bit of a gap there, but I'll live with it. Okay, so now I want to bring that into 3D Studio. So that's the real process I wanted to show you. I'm going to save this file. Well, I don't have to, but it's a really good idea to save it at this stage. Then going back to export, FBX. I'm going to overwrite this file I exported previously. Now that's important. I didn't check there. I'm exporting from a different view. So I'm going to cancel this. I should be exporting from the same view. That's really important. So this is the view I exported from before. So I'm going to make sure I'm exporting from the same view, FBX. Partly so it's got the same name, but also because things like the lighting settings and the view settings generally are all view dependent, and those things come across into Max. So I don't want those things to be different. Okay, so you can see there, I can tell now it's the same view, it's got the same name, 3D View 2. So I'm going to click Save, and it's going to ask me, do I want to replace this file? Yes, I do. No, ArchiCAD, you can export DWG, and AutoCAD, obviously, it saves as DWG. Yes, SketchUp, you can bring in, you can definitely bring them into Revit and then Max. Now, I don't know if they've, they were talking about doing it. I don't use SketchUp, so I haven't checked, but, yep, there we go, SKP, yeah, yep, yeah.
Unless it's too complex.
Oh.
You have seriously complex geometry in SketchUp, it shoots itself into Revit.
Oh, right. Into Revit, but in 3D Studio Max it wouldn't have a problem. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you could actually simplify. In Max you could use the optimizer to get rid of a lot of the stuff that you don't need. Okay, so in Max now, this is a linked file, remember. So if I just go under References and then File Link Manager, it's linked, but this is being copied from one computer to another. So before I reload the link, I'm going to click on that path there and then browse to where I've got my copied files. Okay, so that's all up to date. Now I'm going to click reload. And I don't need to reload any of these things. Okay, so lights, daylight systems, cameras, I'm happy to keep the ones that I had before, and I want to keep the materials that I've changed, and I want to use the C material alignments on reload as well. So okay, it takes a little while. Okay, but there we are. So you can see there that's brought the changes across, but it's kept the things I've done in Max, like the material changes, even if I've transformed geometry. So you can go as far as, just to give you a maybe ridiculous example, this column here, or these columns, I could totally deform them and make them look nothing like they do at the moment. So what's a crazy modifier? I'll just do noise or something. Sorry. Okay, so this is a modifier that just randomly deforms things. Okay, so I've got these sort of, maybe we might want trees or something. But I've saw a really good house actually with rough hewn trees for the supports. It look great. So maybe that's what I'm trying to play around with to see how that'll look. But that's obviously something that's been done in Max. Revit doesn't know about this. But I can go back into Revit, do things with my columns, bring them into Max, and it's going to keep those changes I've done in Max, but with the new columns. Yeah. I once made a curtain out of a wall that I've done in AutoCAD. So it was just a box in AutoCAD. And then in 3D Studio Max, well, I'll show you the curtain. I've got it right here. You don't have to link. You can import, but it's better to link most of the time because then you can go back and forth. Once you're done, if you get to a stage where linking isn't helping you anymore, then you can bind it, just like you can bind an XREF in AutoCAD. So yeah, the curtain. I haven't got the finished renders for this one, but you'll be able to see the curtain. So yeah, that curtain there, that's a box in AutoCAD. That's a linked box. So I can do things with the box in AutoCAD, and it comes through. It doesn't know that it's been turned into a curtain in Max, but it has. So yeah, it's really good workflow because you're not losing the ability to change the base object. That's the great thing about this approach. Anyhow, I don't want that noise modifier. Just thought I'd show you. Alrighty, so that's the basic approach that you can work through with Revit and then 3D Studio Max. Now, I'm just doing a quick render here to show you that it will render because of the way I'd set it up before, but I don't have the maps. I've got to copy them across from the other computer, so I'm just going to hit continue there. But the lighting should be reasonably well balanced. So a lot of these materials are the materials that were set up in Max. The sky, sorry, in Max, in Revit. The sky is from Revit. The sun is from Revit. All of the geometry is from Revit. But the render setup and the tweaking I've done for the materials has all been done in Max. It's all working together. You can probably tell it's rendering much faster than it would in Revit. So yeah, you don't get in Revit. It uses the full 64-bit memory space, apparently, according to the technical specs, but it just doesn't seem to. And 3D Studio Max definitely will. So I've got the final gather settings moderately high. They're not that high, but they're not on draft. Sorry? 23 hours? Yeah, I know. Revit's really slow. Whereas this will render really quickly once it gets through the final gather. And the final gather will save. So you can just do it once for certain views, and then you don't have to keep recalculating it. Now, it would normally go even faster than this, but I've got the screen recording software. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Max is. Yeah. It's an amazing program, and so. Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, this is just Mental Ray. With V-Ray, it's even better. Well, the only problem is it doesn't link because Revit doesn't use V-Ray. It uses Mental Ray. So you won't get linked materials or lights, but all the geometry can still be linked.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you can put the geometry
For the quality,
in,
yeah.
So
Yeah.
the other one is you put the geometry in and select all materials
Yeah.
in V-Ray,
Yeah.
it's an V-Ray program, is it?
Yep.
So that select any of your materials in Revit.
Well, in Revit's going to do it no matter what. It's got materials. Everything's got a material, whether you like it or not. But that's a good thing because you do a wall or a floor in Revit, and it's got a material called concrete or something. Then in Max, you don't need to go and find all the things that need to be concrete. You just find that concrete material and replace it with a V-Ray material.
Oh, and then that change anything that's concrete into the material.
Yep. Yep. So that's it. This is nearly done. So you can see how much.
This is for 64 gig though, yeah?
Oh yeah.
It's not for 32.
Yeah, but it's only got 8 gig of RAM. You can't get much more on a laptop, so it's I know some are coming out with 16 gig now, but
4 gig, so if I just try and bump up my RAM and just go for 64 gig.
yeah, most laptops can get 8 now, and things like the Dell Precision. Oh, okay.
Workstation thing.
Oh, if it's a MacBook Pro.
No, sorry. IBM.
Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah, ThinkPads. Yeah, no, they definitely can handle. They can probably handle 16. It depends how old it is. Yeah, but I'm sure the newer ones can handle 16. Yeah, sorry. I thought. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, because they generally need to be workstations to have that much RAM. Yeah, I mean, desktops you can easily get 32 gig, and I think I told you last week, a friend of mine's building one right now with 192 gig. Yeah, so look, I've got a few issues here. There's some sort of artifact here coming in that glass material, so I'll have to sort that out, but I'll fix that up later. But other than that, that would take a long time in Revit, and definitely not while you're just sitting there.
So if you wanted to tweak the lighting in that, would you do it in that frame, or do you have to retweak and re-render? Or...
I'd have to re-render, yeah.
So you were saying that the glass reflection, there was an issue with glass reflection, is that right?
Yeah, I'd just have to look at that because that's a new panel, so I'd say it's just when it got re-imported. So I'd have to just look at that, but yeah, I don't think it's. Yeah, well, 4 minutes all up. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, look, if it takes longer than 20 minutes a frame, I really go in and try and sort out what's happening. Yeah, but I mean, look, a lot of this is only recent. Until a few years ago, I mean, I was sometimes spending half a day rendering. Yeah, I'd never spend more than half an hour on a frame these days.
How long does that take to get printing it out high quality resolution?
Oh, look, okay, so that's all that. This is all for video resolution. For print resolution, I usually expect it to take a bit longer, so maybe an hour? Yeah.
Maybe now.
Yeah.
You're sick.
Yeah. Yeah. That's on my desktop, on my proper workstation.
Huh? No. Yeah. No, wish I hadn't wasted so much of it up to this point.
So yeah, look, I'll sort out that glass material later. I don't want to waste time doing that now. So I'll just stop that recording there, and then I can move on to what I really wanted to show you tonight.